Social media has gone to war against Alex Jones and InfoWars. Maybe it's a info war against InfoWars. Hey, everybody, I'm Steve Green with Bill Whittle and Scott Ott, and this is Right Angle, brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. Hey, listen, gents, you saw what happened on early Monday. This is Wednesday when we're recording this now, where just out of the blue, Facebook shut down Alex Jones's 4 pages. Apple quickly followed suit by pulling all his podcasts off the iTunes store, and I believe YouTube has now pulled all of his videos too. And I guess the thing I'm wondering is, are we next? Scott, I think we've kind of glanced on this issue before of antitrust, and as a right-leaning libertarian, I have some serious issues with antitrust legislation philosophically, and as someone who believes that private enterprise can do what it wishes. But, oh man, they're deplatforming people in sync. Is this a war against free speech? And legally, is there anything we can or should do about it?
Well, I think what we could do about it is we're probably past the hour when we could do something about it. And by that I mean, if we had seen this coming sooner, we wouldn't have become so dependent and thus fueled the growth of these social media platforms that have now become our portal to the world. And, so it used to be when you opened up your browser, the first thing you would see was a search page of some sort. And you'd go from there. You may have a collection of blogs that you read. You may have subscribed to a few YouTube channels. But now it's become, depending on what your choice is, Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or even YouTube in some cases, they've become the front door to the internet, and that's the way you're used to accessing everything. And then the content producers, us, Alex Jones, others, have become so highly dependent upon them to drive traffic that we're reluctant to pull away. And so, it's a fascinating situation because from a free market perspective, I don't want to say that Facebook can't say to Alex Jones, you violated our community standards, we're going to yank your videos, our platform's not for that kind of stuff. On the other hand, at what point does Facebook and Google become so powerful that they essentially become, as I think Bill said in a previous episode, they're like a public utility, and they need regulation so that they don't shut down debate in the public square. I don't think we're at that point yet, and I do think that there are enough outlets still remaining, MeWe.com and others. Twitter has not shut down, at least as of this recording, has not shut down Alex Jones yet. So there are plenty of avenues still for people who desperately need to hear his false information to be able to get that information, as well as, frankly, all the people who need the vitamin supplements that he makes about $12 million a year peddling.
Wow. Bill, I'm kind of picturing you in the role of Lando Calrissian here, when he's bemoaning the possible presence of the Empire at Cloud City, where he says, it's like a cloud over everything we've built here. What do you do about this threat of being deplatformed from our 2 biggest outlets, which are YouTube and Facebook?
The second you compared me to Lando Calrissian, I just had a vision of Hillary Clinton getting off of some kind of spaceship and me going forward and kissing her hand. Welcome to Cloud City, Madam. Wishes she was president. Let's start with Alex Jones.
All right.
I was asked to do an interview with him many years ago now. Actually, I declined. And I declined because I disagree violently with a lot of what Alex Jones has to say. But I think the first thing that needs to be said about Alex Jones is this. 1 out of every 10 stories, he's not only right, he's the first person to be right.
Yeah.
And that just has to be said. It's figuring out which one of those 10 stories is the one that's actually, really, really on the cutting edge, because I just think that Alex Jones's problem in a nutshell is his filter is insufficiently finely graded. I think he anything that sounds like it might be alongside of his ideology he runs with and doesn't seem to be willing to do the fundamental, litmus test of, is this actually true or not? Put that aside. a lot of people listen to Alex Jones, and Alex Jones is speaking for a lot of people when he talks about a runaway government. And look, let's be perfectly honest. Alex Jones was talking about things like deep state and so on a long time ago. Everybody thought he's kind of a nut. Now, after the Strzok testimony and James Comey and all the rest of it, it's like, no, the man's on to something there. So I just want to be fair to him. I'm defending Alex Jones for the same reason I'm defending anybody else. As we said in our pregame show, if it was Michael Moore that was being shut down, I'd be defending him too. Although right. I would be using that stuff that the coroners use to put under their nostrils so that they don't vomit from the smell. But I would be defending him too. Seriously, would be. Now, as far as the effect goes, on some level, shutting down Alex Jones is a more honest thing to do than what they have been doing to Alex Jones, what they continue to do to everybody, including ourselves, Prager and so on. Dennis Prager sued Facebook and lost, apparently, because his research indicated that 2%, or maybe it was Facebook, I actually don't remember which, 2% of the total number of subscribers to Prager University were actually getting his content. In other words, I click a button, I want to watch Prager University videos. Okay, congratulations. And then the algorithm sends you 2% of what actually, or sends what actually comes out to 2% of his total subscriber base. And it leaves you asking questions like this. This Right Angle show routinely gets 7, 8,000, 10,000. It's not unusual to see it go 15, 20. Sometimes it'll go to 40, 50, and occasionally it'll go into six figures. BillWhittle.com has... the Bill Whittle channel has a little over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. If every one of those subscribers was getting what they thought they would be getting, then Right Angle would show up on 100,000 people's screens. And the reason that it would show up is because they've clicked the button that says, I want to see more of this content. So the minimum numbers for Right Angle, for any one of these shows, should be something along the lines of, 40, 50, 60,000. And maybe higher, and you realize that these people have literally decimated our reach. We use the term decimated as the actual meaning of the term comes from something that was done to rebellious army units. I think it started with the Romans, where basically if you had a unit that was like misbehaving or covered itself with disgrace, they would take every 10th man and execute them. They would decimate. They would take 1 out of 10. And that's what we're reaching. We're reaching 1 out of 10. We haven't been decimated. We've been septinated. Yeah, we've been decimated 9 times. So we've one person, instead of executing 1 person out of 10, they've decided to let 1 person out of 10 live. Yeah. And this affects our business. It affects everything. Yeah. The final question for this, Steve, is simply this: what are these guys so afraid of? What are they so afraid of? If Alex Jones is just a quack and a nut and a lunatic, okay, what are they so afraid of? Why are they so afraid of the messages from this show that they push it out to 10% or 5% of the people who have asked to see it? What are they so afraid of? I'm not afraid of them. I know their stuff is everywhere. I see it every single day in movies and TV. I see it promoted everywhere. It doesn't scare me, and it doesn't change my mind. If they had a better idea, maybe they change my mind, but they don't. So they're scared of the fact that reality is on our side, and they're terrified of the fact, especially after 2016, that if those knuckle-dragging American racist fools out in flyover country get to hear a different version of the truth than the one they are selling, which isn't the truth, then they'll do something crazy and lunatic like vote for somebody other than the person who was supposed to win. And this bothers them to a high degree. I think after 2016, they basically said, we're going to take whatever licks we have to take and whatever stock hits we have to take in order to make sure that the American people don't get a chance to hear about things like email servers and falling down from limousines and all the rest of that stuff.
Yeah, I think there's another angle here, Bill, and that's muscle flexing on the part of social media. They'll take down Alex Jones just to see if they can get away with it, and then who knows who's next? Yeah, is Prager next?
Brushing back a batter, right? You know, guy's a little too aggressive over the plate. You put one just in front of his nose, just to brush him back a little bit. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so I think there's definitely some a muscle flexing aspect to this as well. I don't have a whole lot of use for Alex Jones. I'll get to that in a second, or antiwar.com. But their editor at large, Paul Joseph Watson, he's a sharp
terrific
guy. He is a terrific guy, libertarian, sort of right-leaning libertarian. I like his stuff. a lot. I think he's the best guy on the site.
I do too,
easily.
very much.
Yeah. He tweeted on Monday morning after this shutdown happened. InfoWars was widely credited with playing a key role in getting Trump elected. This is a coordinated move ahead of the midterms to help Democrats. This is political censorship. This is culture war. And I agree with, I think, just about every word of that. Listen, I have a personal history, a very brief one, with Alex Jones. My PJTV debut
That's
10 years
right.
ago. Yeah, 10 years ago, almost to the day, was the first night of the Democratic National Convention. I showed up with the Founding Bloggers camera crew at this Shake Your Money Maker event where hippies were going to levitate the Denver Mint and shake out the money for poor people. It's what they do. I was there. Michelle Malkin was there. We exchanged a few friendly words. We were acquaintances and friendly. Crowd shows up, and in that crowd, Alex Jones, who bellows, "There's Malkin, get her!" And he, who's like 300 pounds, and Michelle Malkin is about 95 pounds soaking wet, Jones gets right in her face, shouting, spittle flying. PJ Media's Charlie Martin, who's a friend of mine, is much bigger, and he interposed himself between Malkin and Jones. And Jones actually punched Charlie in the kidney. Charlie said that he hits like a girl. I think maybe he does. We all go out for shots afterwards. It was an ugly and unsettling scene. And that kind of thuggish behavior does not make me take Alex Jones seriously. Nevertheless, if there is any sort of social media or legal recourse that he wants to take against these social media giants, I'm going to back him up 100%, because we don't have the luxury of choosing our allies anymore, because the electronic left has chosen them for us, and we're either going to hang separately or hang together, and I unfortunately would rather hang together with Alex Jones. So there you go. That's your right angle on that, brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. If you like what you see, click on over, join. We'd love to have you aboard. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.